A new report by Seattle's Inspector General shining a light on the response by police and the city in the summer of 2020 as that autonomous zone known as CHOP or Chaz took over Capitol Hill.
So the area was a place of protest and dialogue as the nation was gripped by the murder of George Floyd. And while it was mostly peaceful, there were times there was violence. People were hurt, people were killed, and that's when the report says the city and SPD didn't work together to solve that issue.
So we're kind of doing a deep dive on this report, and Fox 13's Dan Griffin joining us live in the newsroom this morning, and there's a lot to dive into here.
Yeah, there are a lot of pages to look through, and while many push for peaceful protests, we know that a 16-year-old and a 19-year-old were both shot to death that summer. And according to the Seattle Office of Inspector General, part of a panel, including the community and even SPD, the police department misled the public leading up to June 8th when they removed barriers outside the East Precinct, allowing demonstrators to march past the building. Later that evening, they evacuated the precinct after protesters broke windows and spray painted security cameras in an attempt to take the building over. The report released this week covers events between June 8th and July 1st of 2020 and takes a look at the department's response to racial unrest in Seattle. It described poor communication, deception, a lack of leadership, adding on to tension and violence. It says the city and police department grappled with how to respond to the protests and eroding public trust. Now, the report describes a dysfunctional relationship between the city and SPD. It says police exaggerated dangers to officers to justify leaving the precinct, and that fake radio broadcasts were made on public channels about the Proud Boys, a white supremacist group gathering downtown and coming to Capitol Hill. Well, that pushed some protesters to arm themselves, according to the report. As violence reached a peak, 16-year-old Antonio Mays and 19-year-old Lorenzo Anderson Jr. were shot to death before police moved into the area on July 1st to move the protesters out. Well, now SPD is responding, saying it appreciates the analysis and, quote, having a seat at the table where we can engage in thoughtful, honest dialogue to foster better understanding. The mayor says he's committed to supporting improved communication and working with the community for more effective public safety. Now, the report makes 34 recommendations, including ensuring Seattle neighborhoods aren't left without public safety and other essential services, solidifying processes for transparency and accountability in case of evacuations or emergencies, and that SPD should prohibit broadcasted ruses, and the department should require consistent cultural competency and emotional intelligence trainings for supervisors and command staff. And there's still a final report to come this year, so we'll have more on this at fox13seattle.com. Live in the newsroom, Dan Griffin, Fox 13 News.